Moms for Liberty really worked miracles.
We have a crisis in America in public education. This is the future of our kids and our country.
You are joyful warriors.
And we are just getting started. Good morning. Welcome to the Fire of Liberty show. I'm Tina Deskovich, your host, also CEO and co-founder of Moms for Liberty. This show comes to you every Wednesday live across all of our social platforms, and we bring to you the moms and dads from the front lines of the culture war in America. Today, we have our chapter chair from Pinellas County, Florida. Her name is Angela Dubach. She has been with Moms for Liberty from the very beginning. I would say we were just a couple months old when she helped launch the chapter there in Pinellas County. She's had a pretty exciting and interesting journey. We're going to talk about that today. But first, I want to point something out because this is like episode 19. I think it's episode 19 of the Fire of Liberty show. And we have yet to sport Moms for Liberty merch on our own show. And our merch manager, Jen, she hasn't brought it up to me yet, which is interesting. But today, Angela walked in a Moms for Liberty shirt. You are the first guest out of 19 chapter chairs to show up in Moms for Liberty.
I wanted
merch.
to wrap right. So.
Yeah. So it looks great. That is our Liberty. What do we call that one? Liberty head shirt. What?
Liberty.
That is our Statue of Liberty face shirt. I'm not sure what it's called on our website, but you can go to momsforliberty.org/store. Is that right, Amy? /store. And you could pick up your Moms for Liberty shirt. We have all kinds of shirts. The classic T and V-neck that has the logo.
Mm-hmm.
We have that shirt. I am sporting our jacket. And you're wondering why I'm wearing a jacket today. It's Florida. It's 94 degrees outside. I'm headed to Virginia. Did you know that?
I did.
You did that. I'm leaving here in 45 minutes. And I'm hopping in a car and getting on a plane. In Virginia right now, the Department of Education has come down for Title IX violations, I think on 5 school districts.
Oh, wow.
And one of our chapters in Prince William County has their first school board meeting of the school year tonight.
Oh.
And they are one of those 5 districts. So our chair's holding a rally. And I'm going to go fly up there and pop in and show support.
That'll be exciting.
And it's cold there. It's like 65 tonight. So I need my Moms for Liberty
Yes,
jacket.
you do.
Yeah. And so we encourage everybody to go to our Moms for Liberty store and purchase Moms for Liberty merch. It helps support the cause. But I think that's where we should start our conversation today. So you've got on this Moms for Liberty t-shirt. And boy, does that invoke a lot of emotions. So tell me what it's like to wear a Moms for Liberty t-shirt. And I'm about to wear mine in the airport, the jacket, or out in public. Do you usually get good response?
Usually it's good.
Yeah?
Usually it's good. A lot of times though, if I'm traveling with my husband, he'll be like, don't wear that shirt. Like,
are you serious?
Yeah. He's like, don't like attract anyone.
What does he think about the work you're doing?
Well, he loves it and he's very supportive, but he's not like a confrontational. And I remember that's funny because when I first started this, he was like, really, Ange, politics? And I was like, no, I'm not doing politics. I'm just going to help get, school board members elected. That's all. And to this day, he's like, okay, miss no politics. But anyway, there's only been a couple times. I mean, I've seen other people get triggered, but to me, it's only happened a couple times.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes, especially if I wear this jacket on the plane, somebody will like every now and then reach out and fist bump me as I'm walking onto the plane. And, the jacket's got the flag on it and you're feeling all patriotic.
Mostly they're like, love the shirt.
That's great.
Yeah.
But there's been a couple times in particular that the shirt has invoked some bad reactions for you. One in particular at the state capitol.
Right.
I remember that one very well.
That was 2022, right?
23, I think.
Was it 23?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 2023. We were there for legislative days and they were debating the 1557, the Parental Bill of Rights.
Parental Rights in Education.
Parental Rights in Education.
The Parental Bill of Rights.
Got it. Well, we had lunch and Yvette and I went back and we wanted to see them vote on it. It's going to pass. And so we walk into the hallway to get on the elevator, go up to the 3rd floor, get off the elevator because we're going into the gallery. And we get off the elevator, and all of a sudden we see this mob of people, probably about 10 people. We have the shirts on, look at us, and all of a sudden they're surrounding us, screaming, "Moms for Liberty, you can't hide. We'll charge you with genocide," like up in our faces like this, like in
It's
our
like the
face.
shirt was like red to
Yeah,
a bowl or something.
we didn't speak to them. We didn't even look at them. We didn't, I mean, we were just got off the elevator and we were tried to walk in, and they blocked the whole door. Couldn't get in. And I remember Yvette saying something about joyful warrior, just be a joyful warrior. And in the meantime, I'm like, just get me to safety. But yeah, so finally we got security to like push through and got us, behind the door and closed. But yeah, I was like, I said, Yvette, did you? She's like, they just saw our shirts, and it was crazy.
It's crazy that a shirt can invoke so much hate and rage and irrational behavior. We've seen it multiple times at our events, but
the blue shirts.
I'm sorry that happened to you all, but you guys handled yourself so well.
Yeah.
I think that we work hard within our organization. We have this document. I think Pat and Brittany created it back in the day, and they called it "Don't Hurt the Shirt." And I think that was so clever because wasn't necessarily about like how to wash your shirt, right? It wasn't about the physical shirt. What do you think that really meant?
Yeah, because to me, it's always somebody's always watching you. Somebody's always going to have their phone out, video you, and so if you have that shirt on, better behave. That's what I kept thinking. Just don't react. Because normally, if I wasn't with Moms for Liberty, I probably would have been like wanting to say a few words, but no, I knew better.
Well, look at that. Moms for Liberty actually helps bring you to a higher standard.
Exactly.
Would you say that? Am I putting words into
your
mouth?
Yeah. No, definitely.
And the point is we have to, because especially, from 21 through this last year, all eyes are on our behavior, and they are caught on camera, and they lie and distort and twist about our members already. And so if you actually give them something to fuel that,
and you're doing something right, if you get that reaction. And another one was too, at one of our school board meetings, again, the shirts. I mean, we would wear them at every meeting. And I went to one meeting, and there was these 3 little old ladies like in the front row, and they had our blue shirts on, and with the font, it said "Grannies for Sanity," like in the Moms for Liberty font.
Oh, so it wasn't our shirts.
It wasn't our shirts. It's our shirt color.
Got it.
The style and the font. "Grannies for Sanity." Like
it's crazy funny how many organizations have popped up that are created to to thwart the work that we're doing, and the play on all the social media pages that are like mocking us and the shirts. And sometimes it's funny to go and see how creative our haters can be. But 5057 was a pretty big deal here in Florida. It was very controversial. And you had told me previously that it was actually one of the most emotional moments for you doing this work. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, a little bit. Because at the time, I was helping some of our legislators that were on the education committee, sending them, they would ask me, okay, what have you seen that's inappropriate? What have you seen that is, illegal? What have you seen XYZ? And I would just go through, kids' assignments, and I would go through the books, and I would go through all the stuff. And I feel like it was hundreds and hundreds of stuff. Like, I remember finally I was like, do you have enough of this disgusting material yet? Because I'm kind of done. And they're like, yeah, I think we're good. And I remember just asking the chair at that time, like, is this going to pass? Is it going to get done? He's like, you just got to be patient. So I was there when it passed. I was there when the governor signed it into law. And I guess I did get a little emotional, because I was like, wow, I helped with that. And so I guess it made me feel like, okay, you're doing a good thing. Like, this is good.
Yeah, it's a win. There's so many
negative.
There's so many not wins. and the work is hard and long and grueling.
It is hard.
And so when there's a win, good for you for recognizing that you were part of it and you brought it across the finish line.
Because you're so not used to, but it's so easy to be negative and just like, oh, well, yeah, that, whatever, that's not going to work. But I was like, no, I'm going. So I was really excited.
I would say it was a good day at the Capitol, aside from you guys
Right.
getting cornered in the mob at the time.
Very good.
Being in the gallery as it was getting passed. And we talked to some of the legislators afterwards, or they spoke, I think maybe at an event. Was there a dinner that night, or how they spoke later?
Right.
But they had said for so many years, there was no one to support them in where they were trying to stand, and other legislators would cave on voting and such. But to look up and see 100+ smiling moms, like, you can't really cheer up there. You weren't even allowed to snap, or I think we got in trouble for jazz hands that year.
Or putting your hand like on the railing.
Yeah. At some point we were trying to like jazz hands there, and the security's like, you can't jazz hands. And I'm like, are you serious? You can't even jazz hands up here? Yeah. So, but the expressions on our face, supporting them, knowing we were there, watching them and supporting them.
I remember them saying that, how they appreciated looking up and seeing.
Because they were so used to the mob all the time against everything they were doing.
Right.
And that's when we, honestly, that really fueled, I would say, legislative committees across the country for Moms for Liberty, when we realized how helpful and impactful our organization could be at the legislative level. And I would say Florida has led the way on that. So you've been at legislative days every year for Florida since we started it, right?
Right. Since 2022.
So, yeah, that's the first. That was the very first legislative days for any legislative committee for Moms for Liberty.
Then the last 2 years, I was the event coordinator.
Oh, you put them on
for the day at the Capitol. Yeah.
And they've been great.
Yeah,
I've made
and
every
that's
one
another thing I'm pretty proud of. Is like, I've never planned anything really. Like, I'm just kind of like, okay, well, just tell me what to do for this event, and like, but I planned the whole thing, and I was like, wow, it worked.
Oh, it's been great. I mean, I attended. You've had great speakers. You've scheduled luncheons with speakers and tours, and all
met with legislators.
Yeah,
been great.
And it's been a great legislative agenda that's been very successful every year. So congratulations on that. Look
Thank
at you, winner.
Thank you.
Another area of winner is you were nominated 2 years ago, I think, for the Abigail Adams Award.
Yes, that was in Philly.
I was a Philly, the 2023 summit.
No, it was 2022. Because I was nominated 2 years in a row. The first one was the Abigail in Tampa.
Okay.
That was the first one anyway.
And what's that like to be nominated for?
I was surprised. I was very appreciative. And then I was like, I remember when you called me, and I almost had like a little bit of a tear, and I was like, what? Like, I was the one that called you to tell you called me that I've been
you made it as a finalist then, right? Yeah,
finalist, yeah. And I was like, I don't need an award. Like, I mean, just go do the right thing. Like, that's all you got to do. Like, I'm just doing what I should be done. But then I was like, you know what? I guess people like are recognizing what I've done, and it's working. And I was very appreciative.
I love your humility.
Yeah.
And so I wish I remembered that phone call. Oh, that's frustrating.
That's okay. You talked to a lot of people.
I do, but that's a pretty important phone call and an impactful moment for you. And so we do appreciate the work that you are doing. And so these Founders Awards that we have, we do them annually at our National Summit, which is coming up next month. We've already announced a couple of the speakers. I don't know if you've seen, we've got Congressman Byron Donalds. We announced him. Jennifer Say, who was on the show a few weeks ago, we've announced her. Yeah, we probably have dozens and dozens of speakers booked at this point.
Wow.
And so we should be rolling out one a day or one every other day for the next couple of weeks. And Saturday night at Summit is when we do our big gala and we do the Founders Awards, and we announce.
Is it sold out?
It is not sold out yet, but it sells out every year. So get your tickets right now, momsforliberty.org/summit25. And join us. This year, we're actually selling individual day tickets for Saturday.
Oh, nice.
And just gala tickets if they want to come for the big formal gala on Saturday night. So we hope you will join us and visit momsforliberty.org/summit25. Will you be at Summit this year?
I will.
Where's Summit going to be this year?
Orlando.
It's like you could get there in an hour.
I could. I cannot stand Orlando. Sorry, Orlando Disney people, but I do love that it's close.
Yeah, I've lived here almost all my whole life, and I've been to Disney twice. Nobody can believe that.
I have. I went to Disney when I was like 10. Not since I lived here. Been to Universal and Epcot, but not Disney.
Yeah, I don't blame you on that one at all. So let's talk a little bit about, you're obviously passionate about this, and you're passionate about getting the stuff out of schools
Mhm.
and, House Bill 1557 and a lot of other legislation, and, you've done a lot of work in your school district. What drives you? Like, why are you doing this work?
Well, I would say to start off, it's probably because of my parents and the way that I was raised. My parents were both fifth grade teachers. My mom taught for 30 years, my dad for 35 years. My grandmother was on the school board in this little town that I lived in. There was only 66 people in my class, in my graduating class. So
Oh, wow,
very, very
tiny.
small, tiny, everyone knew everyone type of thing. And education, I mean, it was go to school with my dad and come home and grade papers and then or help my mom with this. I remember helping her go decorate her classroom before school would start. Like just fun things like our trips to back to school shopping had to include going to the teacher store to get her stuff. And
Oh.
so, and I think my dad, I can still name all my teachers in elementary school. My dad was my fifth grade teacher. And I think he was the one that gave me my first attention. Maybe even sent me to the principal's office. I don't know. But everybody knew everyone, and everyone, like my parents were friends with the principal, the superintendent, and all the coaches. And my dad was also my basketball coach. So I lived in the school basically growing up.
That's fascinating. And now you're fighting so hard for education. Why?
I just think if my parents were here today, they have passed, but I think that if they knew what was going on with some of the stuff that's inappropriate, they would be shocked, I think. And I think that they would be proud that I am trying to do the right thing. And then I feel a little bit of guilt, I think, because how did so much time go by and I never had any idea what was happening? No clue.
I
Just
think a lot of people feel that
the
way.
first time I realized, like, what?
How did this stuff get in our schools?
Yeah.
What happened to education from the time you were there with your parents? Like,
Mhm.
I have so many great childhood memories
Mm.
of elementary school. I didn't live in a small town. I traveled all around and went to a lot of different elementary schools. But every time, like you have a special bond with your teacher, and you
Yes.
feel cared for there, but you're learning and thriving.
Exactly.
And a lot of that is missing
A
from
lot of that is
education
missing. And
right now.
my friends, their parents were teachers too. It's like after school events, we'd all get together. After the Friday night football games, the coaches and teachers would come to our house. It was just a
Community.
a community. Yeah, a little small community that everyone loved and learned a lot. And there was no question after I graduated, because education again was very, very important in my family. No question that I would go to college and go from there. But yeah, I just think if my parents were here today, they'd be sad.
So
They'd
I
be sad.
love that it was your grandmother that was on a school board.
Yeah.
I love that you had a grandmother on a school board. So a lot of people come to Moms for Liberty and don't even know what a school board is or what it does.
Right.
And they have a big learning curve. So you actually had a grandmother that was on your very small school board. Did you know what she did on the school
No.
board? Or you just knew she was a school board
No,
member?
I mean, she passed away when I was pretty little.
Yeah.
So I really remember my parents talking about it a lot. And I saw pictures of her and all these awards that she got and stuff. But yeah, so I do know what a school board is, but I didn't know what she did.
So, but I feel like you're carrying on the legacy between your parents being
Yeah.
teachers and your grandmother being a school board member, and you are the chair of the Pinellas County chapter of Moms for Liberty and the things you've accomplished. Let's talk about that a little bit. We talked about helping with 1557, the Parental Rights and Education bill in Florida. Let's talk about elections, because I feel like all eyes were on Pinellas County a couple of years ago for your school board elections, but you had two really big wins.
2022 we did. And the two candidates that we endorsed won. And that was amazing because the first time doing this, I remember going to my first, you sent me the get starter packet or whatever with the pamphlets and everything. And so I get my 10 people, have our first meeting, and we're at the first meeting and I'm handing out stuff to everyone. And they're like, okay, well now what do we do? And I'm like, I don't know.
Well, there wasn't, to be fair, this was, we were about 3 or 4 months
Right.
old when you started your chapter. There was a staff of 3 of us volunteers.
I know.
And so we didn't even know what a Moms for Liberty chapter really should be or
Right.
needed to be.
Well, my point is we grew and we learned, and for not going from that to not knowing what we're doing to knocking on doors, to getting petitions signed, to having events, to all this. And then the 2 candidates that we endorsed won. The very first time doing this ever, not really knowing what we're getting into, like, that was exciting. That was really exciting.
It's exciting. So tell us what it takes to win a school board election. Because first of all, I want to tell people that are watching, Florida school districts are massive.
Oh
And
my gosh.
we only have 67 school districts in Florida, which means your school district is the size of a county. Because some places in other parts of the country, you have 8,000 voters total in a school district, or you have 2 schools in a school district.
Right.
Pinellas is in the top 10, I think.
Yeah,
size
7
because
a million in our county.
7 million people in your county?
No,
Oh.
1 million people in our county,
Okay.
but I think we're the 7th largest district.
Yeah, because we're at the 10th and we have a 500,000.
Yeah.
So I knew you were above us
Yeah,
somewhere
yeah,
around
yeah.
there.
So it's crazy to me, again, back growing up, I lived in a little small county, but we had 3 districts. We had 3 school boards, 3 superintendents. And here I am running this chapter of one school district, 1 school board, and this county has 1 million people.
Probably 150 schools or something, I
Yeah,
would
a
say.
lot.
Close. Well, because we
Yeah.
have 100, we have about roughly 85 to 100 here. So you're probably well over 100.
160-ish something.
Look at me. I just
think.
pulled that out of my head.
Don't quote
Yeah.
me, but yeah,
That's-
a lot.
And so what does it take to win a seat on a school board in that kind of election and that kind of race that you told your husband had nothing to do with politics?
No, it doesn't. Just helping the school board. No, yeah, you have to be very passionate. And once you sign up, like, you have to be all in. I just think you can't go be like, well, I think I might want to, we'll see what happens. Because you have to raise a lot of money. I mean, we had Dawn won our county-wide seat, in 2022. She raised $60,000 to $70,000 for a school board race. Her opponent raised $140,000
Holy cow.
for a school board race.
I do want to say that in most places around the country, you do not need to raise more than $5,000.
No.
And in some places, they raise like around 1,000 or a little over 1,000. They're non-paid positions or tiny districts. So
I mean,
I don't want people to be scared off.
No,
it's different.
that's not
everywhere.
normal.
It's not normal at all.
Yeah, just crazy.
So your candidates had to raise a lot of money.
Yeah.
But what did you do? What did your chapter do to support your endorsed candidates?
Door knocked.
The number one thing
that
you can do to get your candidate across the finish line is door knocking.
door knocking.
Do you know how many doors you guys knocked? in that election?
Thousands. Yeah, I don't. I mean, there's probably numbers somewhere I could find, but no, I mean, it was all the time. And if the candidates were busy, they had, families, life goes on. I would get a group, hey, let's go door knocking. And then I would have volunteers that would say, well, they don't feel comfortable, door knocking, which I get. It can be intimidating, but they would drive us. It's like, okay, well, you drive the car. And then the 3 of us will walk down the sidewalk.
Yeah, and they can pick you up at the end. It saves
side
so
of the
much time.
sidewalk. Yeah. And we had our whole list of where we're going. Are you registered this, registered that? And we got a great response. The one thing that was shocking to me, and maybe not shocking now, but when I look back, like when I don't think I voted for school board probably back in the day either, but because I didn't really know what it did. But so we were trying to educate people on that. And but there was a lot of people that said, well, we don't vote for school board, so that's disappointing. And again, trying to educate them on that why. And
what do you tell them?
Well, first of all, your tax money, your taxes are paying for a lot of it. Or they'd say, well, my kids are grown. Well, again, you're paying taxes. Do you know what's going on? Do you have grandkids? Well, yeah, and we would show them some of the material and
good idea.
Yeah. What's inappropriate. And
do you feel like you converted anybody when you knocked a door to at least start engaging and
a little
attention?
bit. Yeah, a little
It's
bit.
crazy how many people, the least voted, sometimes mosquito catcher, yes, we have them in Florida. Mosquito control sometimes gets more votes than school board, which is crazy.
But back to answering your question about, what all we did, we would break down with our candidates, literally, okay, this is how much money you need to raise. This is how many doors you need to win. You need to have like 25,000 votes or 25, let's just say 20,000 votes to win. This is how many doors you'll need to knock. Like we broke it down to T.
And for those that are watching and curious, we actually have tools created in Moms for Liberty now. I don't think we had them back then for you, but we have them now. We have a whole toolkit to run for school board that will help you calculate these numbers. You can go to our website under candidates and download that. If you're a chapter leader or a member, you can download it to help your candidates also figure it out. It's vital. It's political science. There's an actual science to winning. There's a science to winning these races, and you have to actually do the work.
Exactly. And go take the winning workshop. That was big.
That's where we teach you how to use these toolkits. And if you want a winning
definitely.
workshop, reach out to us because we will be glad to bring one to your community. We're happy to bring one to your community if you have about 10 people. Well, that seems to be the magic number around here. You need 10 people to do anything.
Like we went in, it was, I think, Pinellas, Hillsborough, maybe in Sarasota, like 2 or 3 counties went in together and they were able to do it for us that way. So that worked.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. So you knocked a ton of doors. So for those that are like, oh, I could never knock a door, just walk us through. What's that look like?
Well, it's intimidating at first, if you've never done it, but we had our little script, basically bullet points. We would have their palm cards, the candidates' palm cards. Do I need to say what a palm card is?
Yep, probably a good
palm card.
You're doing a good job in this interview. Who needs me?
No, palm cards is basically something that fits in your palm, and it just it highlights their qualifications.
Everyone's had one left on their door,
and why they're running and that sort of thing. So, so if I'm not with the candidate, I will just say, I'm representing running for school board. I just want to hand you this and hope to have your vote on, August 23rd or whatever. And if they would ask me specific questions about the candidate, my first response would be, well, I don't want to speak for her, but this is what she represents. This is why she's running. And right down here is all of her contact information.
Perfect.
And you can reach out to her by phone, email. And she's actually out here knocking doors with us on the other side of the street. So if we swing back around here, if you have any questions,
so perfect.
I'll have her come by. So that happened a lot.
It does. So I knocked 8,000 doors in my race in 2016. It took me over a year. It's crazy how long it takes. And when you're the candidate, it takes a lot longer because they invite you in. They want to.
And she had a baby at the time.
Their homemade bundt cake with you, all the things. Like some guy showed me his ship collection one time of that, you build those little custom ships. And so what's your best experience door knocking? And I don't know if we want to scare people off with maybe your worst experience. But
best experience was when they realized what was going on in the schools, and they were like, well, do you support Moms for Liberty? And they would say, well, yeah. They're like, oh, okay, well, you would definitely have my vote.
Oh, so you're like, hallelujah.
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
But then there was a couple, well, you support that group, Moms for Liberty. All they do is ban those books, and it's like,
then you have to not only clarify where the candidate stands, but then you're trying to defend Moms for Liberty too. And
so you don't want to really I'm not going to get into a back and forth with them. You don't do that. But one time we had a dog chase after us. Overall it's been pretty good. And door knocking in Florida in the summertime is brutal.
Yeah, if you wear flip-flops, you get really tan feet. I learned that, and you get the little white marks. But it's the number one thing you can do if you want to win an election is knock doors, because those personal connections are everything. And in school board races, you're likely the only person showing up at their door on that race, and they're so they're underfunded, and there aren't the big ads on TV. So that door knock means everything. And it's a personal, school board races are one of the most personal elections that people care about. They should care about the most. It feels closest to home. They want.
And this last cycle too, I remember one of the candidates knocking the door, and the lady looks, and she goes, "You're the candidate." And she's like, "Yeah, I'm the candidate." Yeah. She's like, I don't think I've ever had an actual candidate knock on my door. And so it
means everything.
Yes.
I have people that I knocked on their doors that we still send Christmas cards, or if they see me in the news now, they'll be like, we're so proud of you. We met you when you knocked our door.
Oh, that's nice.
And my boys would knock with me. It was always a family affair. And sometimes my one son picked up service projects, like the little old lady needed help with something in her lawn, and he came back later in the day and helped her. And so you're building that sense of community when you're knocking doors. It really is a fun thing. So I think we've covered the door
Yes.
knocking. What else does it take to win? You got to raise money.
Yeah.
You've got to knock those doors. What other things did you guys do to
We
get those
did
candidates to win?
not town halls, but candidate forums. Invited, and we've done one every year. Invited every candidate. They don't always show. I think we had the first year we had the best turnout. All but their opponents, the girls that we endorsed, their opponents showed up too. So I think all of the candidates that were running showed up, but 2 of them. And it was very good. It was packed room. Didn't have any issues securing the place. I know a lot of people get pushback and, they don't want to support this or that or politics or whatever. But yeah, we had every year it's been successful.
So again, you said it just a few minutes ago, you've never really put on events, and now you've been in charge of the state legislative
Right.
days for Moms for Liberty, and you're putting on candidate forums
Mhm.
too, and they're successful. So
Yeah,
pretty good turnout each time.
great turnout. 50, maybe 40 to 50 people each
Yeah.
time. We ask the candidates questions, and then we open it to the audience. We have little snacks and
Of course,
Yeah.
if it's a good event, always has food.
Snacks.
That's key. That's key.
yeah, but yeah, it was good.
And what else? So
What
raise money, knock doors, candidate forum, host one of those.
Just all the events like the parades and the holiday festivals, and we would just go. There would be like a fall festival, and we would go out with the candidates and help them get petitions signed and hand out the info, and we did that quite a bit.
So then so great. You win 2 seats. What's it like after they win? You now have hopefully a really good relationship with these candidates that
Mhm.
you've helped win.
Right.
And so do you feel like your relationship with your school board has changed overall, or just with your 2 candidates that you got to win?
Probably just the 2 candidates. Yeah, unfortunately.
So is the board divided, or has the candidates integrated a little bit and able to sway the board?
No.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we didn't win any seats in 2024, and so that didn't happen. But we're still busy building relationships with other people, reaching out. But after they won, I'll never forget this. The room was packed when they got sworn in, standing room only. And they're getting sworn in, and they turn around and they look at 50 to 100 people in this room, and their faces were just like, she said, never in a million years did I think I would turn around and see that many people supporting me. And so that felt good. And just they've been able to talk to what's the word I'm looking for, is if there's an issue in a school or something, and we would bring it to them, they would say, okay, well, has the parent done this, and this and this? Well, no. They're like, okay, well, we'll talk about it as a board, instead of making like a big scene or something like that.
You have relationships, and one of Moms for Liberty's core values is to build relationships.
Sure.
So you have these relationships that you've built because you have put in your blood, sweat, and tears to help these candidates who are aligned with you. And that's helped. Now you're saying bring issues to the forefront, help parents navigate problems within the district. So they may not be winning the school board votes all the time like you would like to see, but they are helping parents. They're putting a voice of parents on the boards, and they're helping parents navigate the system.
Because we are still getting things done, even though we don't have the majority. We're still getting things done.
That's great.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you.
Big wins.
Thank
and
you,
I
thank
say, this is a long game. We have a chapter in Colorado. I was talking to her the other day, and it took them 3 or 4 election cycles to get majority of the board. And they actually got the teachers union contract tossed.
Wow.
So big things happening.
I'm still trying with the teachers union, by the way. I'm still trying.
It takes a long time.
Wow.
And so long game, you're doing a great job. You've been with us
you.
for 4 years. We're so grateful for your service. I just kind of want to wrap things up here a little bit, talking about leading your chapter. You touched briefly on opening that box in spring of 2021, just after we launched, with really no help, support, or direction other than we gave you, I think, some pocket constitutions maybe, and
took it to my first school board meeting.
and a t-shirt, right, in the starter kit. And what else is in that starter kit? We need to update that.
There's some cards, like how do you want to help?
Join cards.
Cards. Yeah.
This is how you become, like, you sign.
Do you want to volunteer? Do you want to? Yeah.
It was a great idea. I think we're still using the same cards. We need to update some of our stuff. But leading a chapter is challenging. And so it's been 4 years.
Mhm.
Some of your key takeaways of what it takes to lead a good, solid, strong chapter.
Well, you got to have support. Number one, from your family, because I started this because of some of the stuff that I have seen, and my friends that have kids in school, and they just are running 6 ways from Sunday, and they can't do what I'm doing. So I'm like, and I went to them, and I went to my husband. I said, if you guys don't want me to do this, you need to tell me now, because I feel like it's the right thing to do, and I'm all in. And I said, and the minute you tell me that don't, I was like, I won't. And building the relationships and getting a support team, and then having a secretary, treasurer, all the things. And I guess realizing that you don't have to do everything, delegate, because there's going to be a time, and there's been several times where I'm like, that's it, throwing this out the window, I'm done, not going to do it. Then I'll have some people call me and talk me off the cliff and be like, just, what are you doing? Go take a vacation. Like, stop doing it for a day.
Away.
Step
I think
away.
That's a key thing to learn.
Because you drive yourself crazy.
I actually told that the same chapter chair I just talked to in Colorado, she was having a hard time and wanted to quit, a few months ago. And I said the same thing. I was like, she's like, well, I'm about to go on vacation with my family. I'm like, close up Moms for Liberty for a week and a half, right? Go on vacation, take a few days, step away. But she's very much like you, I would say, the all in. And you feel so much pressure because there's so many problems to solve.
Got to do it all. Got to do everything. Got to do everything. No,
so take a break.
No, you don't.
Step away sometimes. Delegate. I like that. Any other words of wisdom?
Geez, I'm sure there's several words of wisdom that I'm forgetting, but
no, and so
courage.
Have courage. Courage is contagious.
Courage is contagious. It's hard. It's so easy. I think I said this earlier. It's so easy to be like sad or negative, and just focus on the positive. So what if you don't have a majority on the school board? Look at those little wins that you've gotten day after day after day, even if it's a little thing like, oh, well, this, I don't know, this kid, whatever, got wrongfully accused of, just the little things. And that if you weren't doing this, that you might not have gotten that result, type of thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, absolutely. What types of things does your chapter do? Like, are you holding your monthly chapter meetings?
Yeah, we kind of took a little hiatus in the summer, especially after, 2024 was brutal for me. Not to get into all the details, but so I felt like, let's just take a break at the end of the school year. And so we're starting back up. Our next meeting will be next Tuesday. And we have a great turnout. We usually try and have a speaker. We promote what we're doing, what we're supporting when it comes to legislation. I think there's 6 bills right now. Actually, I have a meeting about that tonight. Okay. 6 bills that
what
we're
type of speakers do you get for your meetings?
We had a guy, the last speaker that we had was, well, we've had the school board members speak.
Oh, yeah.
The last guy that we had speak was a trans woman who went back to being a man.
A detransitioner. Wow.
Yeah, that was interesting. That was really interesting.
That is fascinating. And so that gets people to turn out. About how many people, I'm kind of drilling you on this because we have chapter chairs all across the country that struggle with holding other chapter meetings, getting people to show up and turn out. And so this sounds like you've got some good tips, a good guest speaker.
Yeah, we've had Congress people, authors.
About how many people show up to your meetings on average?
I've had as many as 60, and then I've had as little as like 5, which is fine.
Yeah, well, and then that's
better than 0.
Yeah. Hallelujah. Yeah. So we have sometimes your chapter meetings in general, 3, 5 people. And I tell people if 5 people were showing up monthly to a chapter meeting in all 3,000 counties across this country, that is enough to impact change in America. So,
and I will say one other thing too, that was a real big event for us. Why Meadow died, Andy Pollock came and spoke
powerful
at an event that I hosted, and our school board candidates were there, and there was not a dry eye in the place.
Yeah, that's a good,
that hits close to home for you.
It does. It absolutely does. Like, we could talk about that for days, and maybe we'll get Andy or Ryan Petty's on our advisory board. He's another Parkland dad. That's a brutal time period to talk about.
Yep.
For sure.
Yep.
All right. Last words of wisdom you want to impart or share with any of our members or fellow chairs, or
Just do the right thing.
do the right thing. The
Do the
title
right
of the
thing.
show. I would say, as you were talking, I said maybe we should have. I was in my mind. I was thinking we should have titled the show "All In,"
All in.
because you are all in all the time.
And you don't have to be, again.
Yeah.
Like I'm kind of over that now, because it's so funny. You know, every day I would have on my calendar, oh, I got to go here, then I got to go there. And a couple months ago, my husband was like, well, I thought you had to go to an event. I was like, no, I delegated it.
So you're
like,
learning and
I'm
growing
learning.
too.
Because it's not terrible, but I'm like, well, I want to do it myself, or it won't get done right. I'm like, no, that's okay. If it doesn't go perfectly, it's fine.
The same
It's fine.
personality traits that I have.
Yeah.
And so that's, you hear it, guys. That is from Angela Dubach, our chapter chair, Pinellas County, Florida. She is not only all in, she wants to do what's right. And she's been a fantastic chapter chair since 2021 with us. You heard a little bit about her journey with her parents as educators, her grandmother as a school board member, their wins and what it takes to win school board races. And it's just been a pleasure having you here today. Thank you for driving over to this side of Florida. I'm Tina Descovich, CEO, co-founder of Moms for Liberty. This is the Fire of Liberty show. We are live every Wednesday on all outlets. Please give us a like and a follow. Go find us on Apple and Spotify. Follow and give us 5 stars and a comment there. And we will see you next week, 10 a.m. on Wednesday.